So, Caitlin Clark did not make Team USA. Obviously, she didn't, and it is a topic that is still up for debate to this day. Like, look, when it comes to WNBA topics, Caitlin Clark is the biggest. Like, she is still the biggest topic. Whether you like it or not, she's still the biggest topic, and it's still the person that's going to get the most clicks. Just like when the NBA Finals are going on, LeBron James and the Lakers with JJ Redick, head coach, is getting more coverage in the finals. It's going to be the same with Caitlin Clark. It's unfortunate. That's the way it is. Before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're only 30 off 25.4K, and we're trying to hit that by the end of the day. So, Caitlin Clark. This is an article here saying Caitlin Clark's high school coach recalls last time she was left off Team USA roster. Driven to get better. Maybe a monster was awoken. And it's an article by Scott Thompson. So, Caitlin Clark won't be in Paris representing United States women's basketball and led to heated debate after the 12-woman roster was announced by USA Basketball. But all through the controversy talk, Kristen Meyer, Clark's high school basketball coach, sent a text to her to remind her the WNBA phenom this wasn't the first time she was left off her roster despite trying out. Yahoo Sports spoke to Meyer, who watched a high school sophomore Caitlin Clark try out for the Under-17 World Cup USA squad in 2018, and it was expected she would make the team after helping them qualify for the tournament in the summer of 2017. Despite Meyer saying Clark performed well during the tryout, she wasn't chosen for the Under-17 roster. I want to see who was on that roster, actually, in hindsight. So, FIBA U17 World Cup Women's, 2018? Because I know 2019 she was on the Under-19s team. Like, she was actually on the Under-19s World Cup team. So she made the team a year up. So this was... No, sorry. She made the team 2 years up. So she was U17 in 2019. Because this is... If Cameron Brink's there, it means this is 2001. So this team... So basically, the guards that got picked over... Obviously, being on a team you at this age makes absolutely no odds. Like, it means absolutely nothing. Again, like, I made my national team, my under 16's national team, like final 12, and like at the start of our program was like 7th man. By the end of the program, when we were like playing our actual games, to be fair, I did tear my MCL, but like I went from 7th man to like 10th man, or like 11th man or 12th, Jesus. And then when we had a panel of 30 for 17U, and I got cut from that after making the 12 2 months earlier. So, like, I know how much things can change. But Paige, obviously, is going to be on that team. AZ Fudd, making it a year up. Celeste Taylor made it. Jordan Horson's that young. Wow. Haley Van Lith, Haley Jones, whoever Charisma Osborne is. Samantha Brunel, not sure. Cam Brink. Aaliyah Boston. Fran Believe I don't know. But again, a lot of these ended up being WNBA players. And again, the fact is like, she didn't make this team. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, she was on... She didn't make the... Did she make the 16s team the year before? I think she might have made... I think she actually might have made the Under-16s team the year before. So I don't think this was her first. So she actually won... The year before, yeah. She won the America's Under-16 championship. So, what was it? Like, let's just look. FIBA, America's U16, 2017 women's. So, I want to see how Caitlin Clark got on with that team. Because this would have been the same team the year before. So, USA team. I'm guessing the roster was they won. I'm guessing the roster was similar enough. Still, you had Celeste Taylor there, Aaliyah Boston, obviously Paige Beckers, no Haley Van Lith. But looking at the team's scores, Caitlin Clark played 14 minutes a game and averaged... It's hard to see the points. I hate the FIBA website so much. She averaged 8.8 points per game. So, yeah, fair enough. Rightfully snubbed. Averaged 8 points a game in the year before. And then the next year being cut. She actually broke her pinky early in the tryouts. Man, I'm sorry. Like, if it's the same team year on year, there shouldn't be another tryouts. But I don't think that was necessarily a determining factor. There were just some players, I guess, that the committee thought were better. In fairness, I would assume Hailey Van Lith being one of them. That's probably the direct like-for-like replacement. Clark was the highest ranked prospect that played for the 16U team that was summer that was left off the 17U roster. So instead of wearing USA across her jerseys in Belarus alongside players like Paige Beckers, Aaliyah Boss and others, she had to head back home to Iowa to do the only thing she know how to do, work on her game. Meyer said a locked-in attitude was seen in the gym. She was driven to get better. Clark's skills improved. And then again, by 2019, she was one of the better players. Fast forward to next year, she was invited to try out for the World Championship squad that would be heading to Bangkok in the summer. She was only 17, being among the youngest to try out. With an improved game, she made that team. 2 years later, she was involved in the 19 World Championships again, this time after her freshman year, and she obviously won MVP in that tournament. So, obviously, look, we all know what happened after Caitlin Clark was not named for Team USA this year. We all know the quote from Caitlin, they woke up a monster. And we all know that's 100% true. We know that they did wake up a monster. We know that it was going to make Caitlin more motivated. Should Christy Sides have said anything publicly? I don't really care. I don't really care because I think every single player that got cut from that team should be thinking that way. And it makes absolutely no difference. People saying, oh, people are going to go even harder on Caitlin Clark. People didn't already. People are, their Super Bowl wasn't playing Caitlin Clark already. So I don't think it made any difference. I'm not a big fan of Christy Sides, but that's a situation I don't really care. I don't really care about that situation. Because every single if you go to any competitor, they're going to say something very similar. But it's clear to see that, again, Caitlin Clark getting cut in 2017. Or in 2018 she got cut. And then by 2020, she was arguably equal to Paige Beckers, who was the superstar at that time. As a freshman, sure, Paige Beckers won National Player of the Year. But even at the time, looking back on some articles, there were people arguing. Caitlin Clark won co-freshman of the year with Paige Beckers. Paige Beckers nearly didn't win freshman of the year. It would be like if Caitlin Clark won MVP this year and they give a co-rookie of the year. That's basically the equivalent of what happened in the freshman year. And that's how good Caitlin Clark was. And it is going to be interesting to see because she has that Kobe level work ethic. And that's something that, especially in the women's game, if you have that sort of drive, you can, I think intangible factors, as much as they matter in the men's game, I think intangibles matter more in the women's game. Because in the men's game, you can see some really, really good players that maybe don't have the intangibles, but they have, whether it be they have the skill level. You can make up for it in some skill, and there's just sometimes some natural talent that you can just out-talent teams. Whereas in the women's game, because it is a little bit more slowed down, athleticism, as much as it's a factor, isn't as much of a factor. And there are players currently in the WNBA that, as much as they are elite athletes, but for the WNBA level, they're not and they can struggle. Even some really highly regarded players. But I can see that ending soon. And again, with a Caitlin Clark, you can see how much she's going to push herself, how much she's going to push others around her to be better. And I think, as much as anything, we saw in Iowa, she was around a group of players that all almost bought into the same mentality she did. And she's not the out-and-out leader of a team, and I don't think she ever will be. As far as bringing the team together, getting them all on the one page, she needed a Kate Martin in Iowa to make sure, especially again in women's basketball, it's a bit different. She needed a Kate Martin in Iowa to be that leader because sometimes she can lose her own head. But as far as being that on the court floor general, she is the best, and she's going to do whatever the hell it takes to win. And you better believe in 2028. She's going to do, she's a guarantee to be on that team. Unless she's injured, she's a guarantee to be on that team. Her, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers are guarantees to be on that team. And I don't think they make the same mistake again when it comes to Juju Watkins. I think they bring Juju after a rookie year. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.